Hi guys, Boiler Room here. So in this video I'm going to do an update on the changes to supers and to the Warlock class. In my previous video, which I'll link in the description below, I covered the Hunter class fairly comprehensively. Here you can see using the Golden Gun with the increased damage that Deadeye does, and the Over Horizon perk, Golden Gun does little more than a sniper rifle to the Ultra Knight. All my super testing's been done on the Ultra Knight, so I thought, well, what does it look like with the Celestial Nighthawk on? So we ran a test with the Celestial Nighthawk standing in the doorway where I just fired those shots from. You can see that with Deadeye and Over the Horizon coupled with Celestial Nighthawk, the Ultra Knight almost dies. However, if you run to the front of the platform instead of staying in the doorway, the Ultra Knight is a one-shot kill. Moving on to Titans, we'll start with the Striker subclass. Fist of Havoc has had a base damage increase of 50% and an additional 50% against AI combatant. So in the PvE world, Fist of Havoc's damage has been doubled, and here we test it against the Ultra Knight using Shockwave. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it does just under 16,000 damage on the initial strike, and then Shockwave itself hits him a few more times. Another test following up with Aftermath, and then again the same 15,700 on the initial strike, and then the Aftermath pulses continue to do another 2,000 or so damage. I haven't tested the Defender because the super obviously doesn't do much in terms of damage, but the only change to the Defender class was the Spike Grenade, which I covered in the Hunter class video linked below. Moving on to Sunbreakers and the Hammer of Soul, hammer speeds have been increased by 1.3%, although that's really not noticeable at all. The hammer detonation radius has also increased by 10%, so your hammers now do more area of effect damage, and that damage is also increased by 10% against AI combatants, so in PvE your hammers have actually got a 10% damage buff as well. On the Ultra Knight I think I missed the first hammer, so he might be able to be killed. Here I'm running Hammerforged, Flameseeker and Firekeeper in order to extend my hammers for as long as possible to do the maximum amount of damage. And you can see I still don't manage to kill the Ultra Knight. Moving on to Warlocks. Warlocks have had a small change in the Sunsinger class. There's been a lot of crying about Firebolt grenades and Viking Funeral in various formats on the forums, on Twitter, Reddit, you name it, wherever you look, someone's having a whinge about Firebolt grenades and Viking Funeral. Personally, I think they were just doing exactly what they were designed to do, but Bungie have decided that it's time to nerf the Firebolt grenade and Viking Funeral. So, Firebolts now have a reduced radius of 1 meter, so they'll no longer be as damaging if you're around the corner and someone throws a Firebolt grenade at you. On top of that, they've also increased the arming time by 0.2 seconds. Now it doesn't seem like it's going to be noticeable, but that extra 0.2 of a second might actually give you enough time to jump out of the now reduced radius of the Firebolt grenade. Flame Shield's now been adjusted with a 0.3 second delay before the Overshield activates. So if you're using Flame Shield, you melee someone and then you happen to die before it activates, that might be why. The big one I think really is in the passive tree, and particularly Viking Funeral. Viking Funeral has been changed. It no longer extends the duration of the Ignite effect, which comes under the Touch of Flame perk. Instead, now it actually weakens a target so that they're susceptible to damage from other sources. So if you happen to hit someone with a grenade, like a Firebolt grenade, Viking Funeral is active, they're now a whole lot weaker than they were previously, so their armor stat is dropped. The patch notes say that it can stack up to 3 times, and whoever's been hit by it will take an additional 5% damage from whatever other source. So if you're shooting them, they'll take another 5% damage on top of what you would normally do. My test against the Ultra Knight was using solar grenades with Sunbreakers equipped. I had Touch of Flame on. I did not use Viking Funeral, rather I utilised Radiant Will to try and extend the super as much as possible, and you can see by the end, after my super has run out, because the solar flares are still burning, the Ultra Knight dies as a result of my super. However, had I been using Firebolt grenades, Viking Funeral, so on and so forth, I would have had to fire shots at him. The Voidwalker class has had a slight change. As with the Hunter class, Blink now incurs a 1-point penalty to recovery, but the base damage of Nova Bomb has been increased by 50%, and again an additional 50% has been granted against AI combatants. So in PvE, so you're now getting 100% bonus damage using your super in PvE. On top of that, if you happen to use the Lance upgrade for your Nova Bomb, it increases Nova Bomb damage by a further 25%, so it's a 125% bonus on top of what you were already doing before the update. So here I've done a couple of tests using Lance, and I've also combined it with Angry Magic and then Annihilate to see what the difference is. You can see it's really marginal, but the Ultra Knight isn't a one-shot kill in either case. Stormtrance has also had a 10% damage increase in PvE, so I've done a test here and you can see, using Transcendence, I actually kill the Ultra Knight before my super runs out. The Ultra Knight is now a single super kill using the Stormcaller subclass. That about wraps it up for the changes to supers, which mainly relate to PvE. If you've got any questions or comments, go ahead and ask them below. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and like the video if you got something out of this, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.